It's just gone 6:51 and the sun is now delicious. It's getting warmer outside, it's warm inside, and we have a warm soul in the studio this morning. Joining us always on a Tuesday, Audrey Chilenje. Lovely to have you, lady.
Likewise, Marisa. I missed you.
I missed you too. You were over in Mutari, weren't you?
Yes.
Yeah, things going well there.
Yes, I always think about that. You said you grew up in Mutari.
Yeah. That's awesome sauce. Now, we are going to get into this book, and I did hear what you said when you came into the studio. You were like, this book is tough, my guy. It's got a real story behind it, and just navigating the issues that this young lady went through in her life, and it's called Stroke or Suicide. Please tell us more about this.
Yeah, Stroke or Suicide, I was saved both. Yeah, so that's the title. So Paida Moyo Si Maringwa, she calls herself the She King, by the way.
Right.
Yeah, very powerful, doing mighty things in the industry. She writes this book, which is a memoir, but she writes it in the voice of Amara, a young girl, and she writes about what she witnessed as a child and how she navigated
through that. And
Yes.
obviously she witnessed a stroke and also a suicide. Do you want to delve into that?
So, I mean, you know, like I was saying, it's difficult, and I can imagine the trauma that she had to go through. You know, after coming from church with her mom, they walk into the house and she see her father hanging from the roof.
Oh.
Yes, attempted suicide. But then he doesn't die that day. The mom rushes him to the hospital and whatnot. But a few months later, he actually then commits suicide.
Oh, goodness. And, you know, these are the stories that we are talking about, mental health issues and things like that, you know, what men go through as well. Does she ever mention if he sought help or what the issues were?
So I think it started from, they were having marital issues,
Right.
the mother and the father. And, you know, there were issues of infidelity on the father's part, alcoholism and all that, and there were a lot of fights.
Okay.
But then, like you rightly say, and like we always say, people should seek help, you know. So as a couple, they could have gone for therapy. He could have gone for those AA meetings and all that, and the tragedy could have been averted. But fast forward, you know, now she talks about, you know, now the mother is a widow, you know, the relatives are trying to take the house, all that
From
drama.
the father's side?
Yes. And then the mom, there were 3 girls in the family. And, you know, she was the youngest, but they have to navigate through life. And the mom, she talks about, she's such an entrepreneur, like I said. And I think she got it from her mom, because she talks about how her mom would be knitting, you know, jerseys and clothes.
Yeah.
And she'll be doing chickens as well. And then she had a career as well. She even had a car, you know. So, yeah, she was trying to do what she could for
As a
her
single
girls.
mom,
100%.
and she's grown up looking at that. You know, I always wonder, Audrey, when you mentioned how, you know, some families go through a divorce and family members want to take the belongings. I'm always wondering, who does the house belong to, the wife or the children? Because in the Bible it says you leave an inheritance for your children's children. So automatically it should be the children's. But some people are like, no, it's the parents. Some people are like, it's Hama and the relatives. What is the right thing?
So I know from the law, it used to be the surviving spouse. But
Right.
I think recently it was amended. Now the children actually also have a stake. Because I think there was a family that then went to the court. The mother then remarried. So if it's going to remain with the spouse, it automatically becomes the new spouse's house. Meanwhile, there were children.
The children will
Yes.
suffer for
Yes.
that. Well, that's an insightful thing, and you know, maybe we can do more research actually on that. So there's a quote here, Audrey, that says, "Sometimes life doesn't gradually shift or warn you that change is coming. It simply flips, and everything you once knew is gone." And that's one of the statements that Paida says. And, you know, I'm looking at this picture and you're thinking like a flip, life does change. You start thinking, oh, Dada, I used to drive a car, but now, you know, you're walking. So life was a flip for Paida. And how, I mean, you do describe how she watched her father do that. She went through her mom having a stroke. How did she get to become called the She King? How did she get out of this situation?
So fast forward, she then went to school. She then went to stay with the relatives. And she would always, you know, she was that resilient child, you know, she knew she had to make it, because she also talks about the difficulties she went through with the extended family. So yes, she passed the A-levels, went to university, but I like in one of the statements, she says, in fact, let's talk about another dynamic that then happened.
Right.
Fast forward, then she wanted to get married.
I see.
Yeah. And then they had the gathering and everything else, and then the paternal side did not pitch up.
Oh.
Yes, and in our culture, that's taboo. You can't get married without the paternal side. So she also navigates that. And in the book, she writes little notes, like she writes the story of Amara, which is a story. She's like a motivational speaker as well. She'll write quotes. She'll write a chapter where you can self-reflect and then write notes to yourself. So she also talks about, on this chapter, she talks a lot, and she's saying, I know a lot of you people go through this, the cultural dynamics, the cultural aspects, but there's always a future, there are people.
There's always a way.
100%.
Yeah.
The people are always willing to help.
Yeah. She eventually got married?
She eventually got married. So she says, like the closing of the book, she says, I eventually got married. I then got fired, and then the She King began.
Ah, I see.
Yes.
So there was purpose behind everything that she went through. And I love that because, our lives are purposeful. We are born for something, and it's good to figure out what that is. And it's lovely that she's figured that one out for herself. One thing that she does delve into is the issue of financial stability as a woman. How you were also highlighting how her mother did chickens, did knitting and all sorts. For her, what was her avenue?
So, like right now, let me just read her profile. She's a confidence coach, speaker, founder of the Be Unstoppable Global, a survivor turned transformer. Her work uplifts women who've lost their confidence and are ready to claim their voice. This is a debut book. So, I mean, even if you just Google her, if you go to her social medias, she's speaking at all these powerful occasions and all that, just trying to, uplift the next woman out there. Yeah. She's also a certified accountant. She offers social media training for women. The one time she was even doing it for free, flyers and stuff, just to uplift women.
Wow, that is incredible. It's lovely to see how she's grown out of this. Does she have children?
2. She's actually married and she has 2 children, a boy and a girl.
That is fantastic.
Yeah.
She's inspiring me already. I mean, I haven't read this book, but I can already feel the depth that it holds. Where do we find her? You didn't mention that she has these seminars on social media. Where do we find her?
Okay, so she's on social media, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Paidamoyo C. Maringwa, The She King, and the book is found at 23 Van Pra. That's in Milton Park, Makanaka Beauty Bar, and then also Table 50 at Kwame Mall, and also online, and then she can also deliver via a courier.
Okay, and how much is the book?
$20.
Chete. We love that. We love that. And, Padamoyo, well done for writing this book. And, it does take some kind of courage to write about your life story, the deep things that you actually go through as an individual. And I do know that all of us are a moving book.
Yes.
But some of us are just too scared to be naked in front of the whole world telling them, but this story is going to help many people. And as you even did say, like, whoa, this was a heck of a read.
Yeah, this is a book where you think, okay, you think you've got problems, but then you're like, wait a minute, I don't have problems.
Yeah. And it's nice to see that if somebody who has probably more problems than you, to see how she's been able to get out of that. So there we have it, guys. We do know that where to find the book. We do know where to find Paidamoya as well on her social media handles. The book is $20, Chete. You can get it from her or a store in Kwame. You said Kwame Nkrumah.
Yes, and then there's a beauty bar in Milton Park, and then online, and then she can also do a direct delivery.
Direct delivery.
Yes.
So we have access to what is going on in the mind of a child who was traumatized all those years ago, and even the battles that she's had to fight as a woman. And she does call herself the She King. So get your hands on this book. Fantastic read. Audrey, we've run out of time. Thank you so much for joining us.
Awesome. Always a pleasure.
As always.